New year, new blessings, no fear, no stressing, no overextending, no L's, just lessons, no failures, no weapon that formed against you shall ever mess with your endeavors. No L's, just lessons, new mail, new questions, new money that's printing, new life get to living. It's a new year, that's a given. Welcome to the new year. They say you won't, but you will. Climbing over 2 hills, I love you just like Drew Hill.
Yo, what up? This your boy DJ Roby, aka Jada Barber.
And it's me, Vanessa B.
And welcome to our editions of the This Is Bananas podcast with our special guest, Terrance, aka Duke Seaford.
It's the barbecue.
Barbecue. Listen, if you're tired of the real check on the street, when they give you more songs than they give me, bring your ass down to Duke's Barbecue.
Oh my God. Hilarious. I love that.
Bring your big ass down.
Bring your big ass on down. He said, "What you talking about, Willie?" And the mama said that she got slapped, right?
Yeah, she got
Yeah, literally.
And then they got into an argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You always been jealous." He said, "No, I haven't." My bigger than yours. He said, "It was cold that night."
Oh my God. That movie is still so funny. Hilarious.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was that it was cold that night, man. And all of that was just straight up off the rip. Like,
Yeah. Yes. Off the dome.
off the dome, man. You really
That's
have
our
to be
classic line ever
in
since.
tune with people to really fire back and forth like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, y'all just in tune, y'all in sync with each other, y'all just fools. Can you just imagine being around somebody all night long? Y'all could just go back and forth. You know.
It was like that for me being around y'all, man. They down there Streamwood, man. You know, I was a young buck when I first started, but I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna talk about that too.
Man, let me tell you something. Talking about Streamwood just really, I don't even like to use this word, bro. It gives me anxiety.
You and me both.
I'm so cool. I'm so cool with not even. Oh my God, like that was like hell on earth, man. Right, like
It was.
We was there to help people, but I think what was going on in the process was just like,
Yeah.
I just to anybody out there in healthcare, if you work in any type of residential setting, man, God bless you.
My friend just started one, and on the night shift, she texts me every night, like, "Lord, save me."
You just seen that post I just
started.
posted? Well, my man, he went to sleep, and they had like, he was in the chair rocking. He might have dozed off, and you remember that scene on Jody?
Right. Yeah, you choked him out. I saw that you posted that. Yeah,
Choked him out.
I couldn't imagine.
Stole him out.
Have you ever got y'all hands put on y'all?
What?
Nah, well,
Cool.
nah. I mean, we got into, well, I don't want to say like, it wasn't like no full out fight, but like staff got attacked and stuff. I'm trying to think about who got attacked, who was in our group.
Everybody.
Just jump
I
on
got
y'all.
spit on.
Dang,
I got
that's
spit on,
so
yeah.
disrespectful.
Nah, it was bad too because the girl had HIV.
Oh.
Yeah. We got sent to I had to go to urgent care, do all these tests and shots, and I remember
that
Nurse
is
Lance sitting in there. Yeah,
horrible.
and the thing was, they didn't even tell me that until we was in restraint because our mouth was bleeding. We was in, and then she, because we used to respond to the girls' unit. So like, Rob and I, you mostly worked on the boys, like on the general unit, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, we was on the general boys unit, but it's like. It was unfair to the guys because I felt like the dudes was always expected to respond to codes. You know what I mean? Like with the girls unit, it's like it was me and you, Jerome, then Lee Neville. God
Rest
bless
in
his
peace.
soul.
Yep.
Good dude, good brother. Then Marcus and Dave Phils, little Dave.
Everybody was in this joint. Dang.
Yo, let me tell you something.
Still is low key.
Like I said, Ness, if you working in Streamwood, Behavior, or Hartgrove, Allendale, God bless your soul.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
You're doing God's work.
God, you're literally doing God's work with a bunch of badass kids.
That is true.
Straight, it was, oh my God. I was asked about working at the I do work at the juvenile justice facility, bro, but not like full time. I go in there as a need basis. You know what I mean? I will go and I do classes in there. Teach them how to DJ, whatever. Or I might cut their hair. And he was like, "Would you consider?" I said, I did apply here like 13 different times and didn't get hired.
Right.
But no, I don't want to work here because
No.
even my first year that I worked down in there, bro, I was waking up in the middle of the night like, do I got my keys on me? Did I make sure all them pencils was gone? Because I knew.
That's a potential weapon.
I couldn't
Hey,
imagine.
man.
Hey, that's crazy. I mean, they would make a weapon out of
Sounds
anything.
very stressful.
And if 10 kids was in the class and I passed out 10 pencils, and if 9 showed up, the whole facility got locked down until that 10th one came up, and they didn't care how long it took.
Yeah.
For real. And then you can get fired. And then not only that, you can get put in handcuffs and get walked next door.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You understand? So it's like you really, really, really had to be on your square. But the difference between it's the same anarchy, but I didn't have to do 15-minute checks.
Okay.
Yeah, you understand those 15-minute checks because everybody had their own room. But see, in the
What that mean?
residential,
Come every 15 minutes or
yeah,
something?
You gotta check room, stuff like that.
and
then-
these kids would be so calculated that they was like, okay, he gonna come at this time. They had him. It's to the T. they know you better than you know you.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's crazy.
And I got 14 minutes to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And they will hump on each other. They'll hump a pillow. They'll hump the
They getting
mattress.
after it.
Oh, wow.
It'll go down.
Kids. And they live there, or they
Yeah.
just come every day?
No,
they
they
live there.
they was living there. And then the overnight shift, don't mugs will try to.
Is it a step
riot.
before jail? I never understood what Streamwood behavioral was.
It can work like this. Well, the behavior center in which we worked in,
Right.
it can work in 2 different factors. 3.
I don't mean to talk about just this place.
If you had a kid and he was unruly or she was unruly at home and you didn't want to deal with him, you send them there. Sometimes they will come to us prior to going to court, and we call that court fit. Or they would get released from juvenile justice or Illinois Youth Corrections and come to us for rehabilitation to get put back into the real world. So we dealt with it all.
Yeah, I think the place works. Be honest.
No.
I think the structure of it, I think the structure of it, like
A very political answer.
I think the structure was actually set up like in a sense to kind of fail, right? Like, you know, because I have a nonprofit and then I have like an outreach program that I started some years ago. And that's one thing I always kind of talk to the kids about is the misconnect when kids go into residentials. Meaning that, like, because of the HIPAA laws, like, once the kid got discharged, we had to go X amount of years without no contact with the kid. And I think that's just crazy. Because if you look at it too, a lot of these kids didn't really have a strong support system, nor a family. You essentially become their family. It's like Road would come in there. So, like, I was blessed, you know what I mean, when I came into the, like, Streamwood, because, like, I stopped playing, like, pro-am ball and stuff like that. And my dad told me I needed a job. And my cousin, Ryan was working there at the time.
What up, Wood?
What up, why?
You know Ryan.
And,
yeah.
So, like, he hooked me up, and then my cousin Kendall was doing the overnights. So I came over there, but I was blessed. So I met Robe, and they didn't know about me, but I have an older brother, so a lot of them was like, "Oh man, you Tansy little brother." You know what I mean? So that's how we kind of hit
Little
it off
big
from
brother.
like little big brother. That's how we hit it off and stuff like that. But I just never really agree with once the kids get discharged, because it's like, how do you take a family away from somebody that was their family for whatever 4 or 5 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You done watch them through the program. You done seen them at their low or the lows. You know their whole profile. And then you expect them to be successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's just like taking a crackhead out of rehab and then putting it back in a crack house and be like, hey, man, don't do crack.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So-
Yeah, man. So yeah, it was boy, we can do a whole dissertation, sermon, whatever on
Take
this
some drink.
on this madness, man. But nevertheless, here we are.
Here we are.
Boy, you Seville's finest, ain't you?
I want to say all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Every time I hear
So-
about something good, I hear about Dukes.
Yeah.
about
So
Dukes.
I know
Pay the
you
people to
as
say
I,
that.
I'm respect you as Dukes, but I know you as Terrance.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Cool cat, suave dude with the hat. You heard me? Running track at Dundee Crown.
So-
You know what I'm saying?
The crazy thing about it is everybody knows me as Duke, Except for when I started working at Streamwood, because you gotta have your first name. You know? And they call you by your first name. That was the first time anybody called me. Because my mama called me Terrance. Used to call me Terrance when I was in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started calling me Terrance, and then they started calling me T. And that was awkward for me at first. Because they call my brother T, and they call my dad T. I was always Duke. So I was like, all right, I gotta get used to this. So then it's kind of like, but it was cool though too, you know what I mean? Because I got to learn how to somewhat be a professional, because that was like my first professional, like, well, not professional, but like adult job.
Okay,
You know what
so
I mean?
Dukes came before Stringwood?
No.
Okay.
So I've been owning Dukes for 11 years. I started Dukes about 11 years ago.
Okay.
But I was doing a lot of stuff after Streamwood. Like I got blessed. My mentor, God bless his soul, was Mike Hurst, like a little dude, kind of like Santa Claus if he grew his beard out.
Mike Hurst, the principal from Northwest Academy.
Correct.
Was it Northwest Academy?
Northwest Academy, and then we opened up Parkland. And, you know, I was part of the team going over to Parkland with him. You know, he believed in me, being young and stuff like that. And he taught me so much. You know, it's funny because he used to bring me in places and meetings and stuff like that I had no business being there.
Really?
Yeah, he used to take me in his wing. He treated me like his son, because him and his wife, they weren't able to have kids. You know what I mean? So I was one of the people who was fortunate to kind of him to take a liking to, just like with Dwayne Williams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like him and his wife, Mike, adored them. And I just learned so much. And so much stuff I learned from him then, I was able to apply it later in life with like corporate America. 'Cause like this dude at his house, he had like the state senators. Like so many people used to go to Mike's house, because Mike he was like plugged with everybody. And then there's me. Like, what is he doing here? Like,
Right.
I didn't have nothing to offer him nor anybody in the room, but he always wanted me there. You know what I mean? Like we'll be in a setting like in a setting, like a dinner, going to a bunch of steakhouses. You know, sometimes you're at a place and you're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Sometimes you feel like you don't belong.
yeah. So like I would feel that a lot, but he would always be the one to encourage me, be like, oh no, man, sit down. Let me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that he saw something maybe in me that I didn't see in myself in the time.
Wow, I would have never put that together. I would have, if somebody had been like, Terrance is hanging out with Mike Hurst, I'd have been like, man, get out of here.
I was with him all the time, man. I was
That's
with him.
crazy.
Yeah, I was with him, Randy Bay a lot, all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, all the time. But I was always with Mike, but we had to hang out with Randy, you know, before.
Yeah, Randy was wild, man.
Randy was a wild boy.
Yeah, man. I did not know he passed away neither though. You know, Mike.
Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He passed away some many years ago, man. The cancer came back and got him this time, you know what I mean? But he beat it twice from what I'm told. Yeah. And then the third time was just too much for him.
Yeah. So you indulged in a lot of things, and so one day, man, I'm sitting here minding my own business, and I hear a conversation about barbecue.
Okay.
Then I hear a conversation like, yeah, it's a spot down in East Dundee called Dukes. And I'm like, Dukes? They was like, yeah, man, it's a black barbecue shop. I'm like, in East Dundee? They like, yeah, man. So the whole time they saying Dukes, and I know Duke was you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I remember that because you pulled up on me.
I was like, I got to go see what this is about, right? You know what I'm saying? Go down there, boom, it's you. I had the support.
Yeah, you pulled up on me.
I gotta know, because I would have never took you as being I'm not even gonna say a cooker, bro.
Yeah.
A smoker. Not a smoker in a sense of, but there's a difference when you barbecue, but I think there's a barbecue and there's a smoker. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's more so like a northern thing, right? So we're originally from Greenville, Mississippi, the Queen of the Delta, you know. Nelson Street or something would tell all the tales. But but growing up, just like anything else, right? You know what I mean? I think growing up in a black household, just like you did, I did, you did, you know what I mean? Like your mom and dad probably cooked some ribs, some chicken and stuff on the grill and things of that nature. It's the same thing. It's the one thing that's kind of with the smoking, it's just knowing the techniques as far as how long do you leave the meat on there to break it down. What's your technique? Do you use like the paper? Do you use foil? So when my father and I, when we used to compete, and same thing with my Uncle Nip, God bless his soul. He was a Memphis legend, never lost in Memphis, Tennessee. His people, they introduced me to Cozy's Corner. Shout out to Cozy's, which they got inducted to the Barbecue Hall of Fame. down there in Memphis, and then my auntie Lulu, Mary Lou, she owns Lulu Soul Food. So I've always been around cooks, and my mother's a phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother's a phenomenal cook. She's the one that pretty much taught me seasoning and things of that nature. Cooking was my thing. So when you and me was hanging roll, when I was a little bit younger, man, I was just focused on sports, trying to get that check to check because we was living. Well, I'm not saying we, but I was living it when I was in Streamwood. It was check to check because I swear, when I got one check, I was only able to pay all my bills and put $20 to go to what spot we used to go to on Thursdays?
Up there in Palatine.
Because they had like dollar drinks.
Yeah, man.
$20 you bought
You know the spot.
Right.
It's right next door to the 7-Eleven in the plaza.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Margaritas.
Margaritas.
I know the spot. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I tell, man, we used to, and that $20 you just stretch and do that, and then and then we back at work and trying to make some more money. But cooking wasn't my thing during that time. I was just like sports. Like I was an art major in college before dropping out, and like art's always kind of been my passion. And then cooking, I felt that same passion once I had my condo in the city. That's when I started Dukes. So I started Dukes and like pop ups and things of that nature. Then my mom was like, "Well, boy, you know how to do a little bit of cooking now, so let me kind of show you a little thing or two."
Okay.
And then that's when my guys at the time who was playing, like this when I was real close with the guys and we were playing at the Bears and stuff like that. So a few of them, they used to kind of come and kick in my crib, and I had a nice little what do you call it, patio area or like center of like my complex. Where, we'd go down and have some cigars, and then what would happen was my dad would come up because they was worried about their son.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. They was worried about their son and stuff like that because I was going through some things and stuff. I had a little breakup and things like that. Had to part ways from a young lady I was with. She was a good girl, but she just wasn't my girl. You know what I mean? I think that with people, you should always be at your happiest point. You know what I mean? And I wasn't at my happiest point, but not knocking her, nothing towards her because good girl, cool girl. But once my mom and dad, they wanted me to kind of get off of they didn't want me to kind of fall into a slump and not bounce out of it, right? Mm-hmm. And corporate America during that time wasn't really my thing because I used to I was in charge of all Lifetime Fitness, like I did like the Ultimate Hoops, so I had like 9 clubs, right? So I became like a corporate dude for a minute, right? And then I was at I worked at like for CEC, Career Education Corporation, and I was doing corporate stuff, right? And I was like, man, this ain't my speed, you know what I mean? Which don't get me wrong, it was a good paycheck, but I just wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then my mom started kind of doing stuff with me. Then one of my homeboys, shout out to Shy Hunter, little black chef in Chicago, Greystone Tavern. And, he kind of gave me a little bit of confidence because he's like, man, you can cook, man. And I'm like, what? I can cook. Because, sometimes when you're cooking for your guys, it's all good because it's free. It's just like we have like 20 dudes come to your house or something. They'd be like, oh, I'm going to love the food because it's free. But then once I started to feel like they really kind of liked the food, and then, I kind of took the knowledge and the things I knew so far about business, and I tried to apply that to the restaurant industry because I didn't know nothing about the restaurant industry, to be honest with you. I just knew numbers. I know, okay, if I 1 + 1 is 2, right? So that's pretty much how Duke started. Then we came out to the suburbs.
Okay, so Duke's originally started in Chicago.
Cook Company, yep.
Oh, okay.
It was actually called Duke's Catering.
It was Duke's Catering.
Yeah, Duke's Catering. Yeah, so Duke's Catering would have put me back 12 years. Then I switched it over to Duke's Blues and Barbecue. Okay. My first catering order, which it was my best catering order, not in the sense from a financial standpoint, but I remember I put up a Facebook post, and I was like, my dad was in my condo in the city, and I was like, Pops, man, we got to do this, man. So I did everything. Like I did like the food management, I went through the courses and kind of getting like the food handlers, right? So I did all that stuff to kind of prepare myself. And I was like, all right, Dad. He was like, all right, son, well, now we got to do something. So I'm looking at him, he looking at me, my mom. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to put up a post that say, we will deliver anywhere for Thanksgiving as long as you in Illinois. Not the best of move ever. So when I put the post up there.
Oh, my God.
So when I put the post up there, like right hand to God, true story. So I had 11 orders, right? And I didn't know nothing about, because once again, this was legit like my first order, right? I didn't know nothing about price. I didn't know nothing about, the margins. I just knew they want me to make food. I got to make food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my menu consisted of everything. I had fried chicken, I had oxtails, I had turkey, I had ham, I had dressing, collard greens, barbecue. So the menu was probably like 60 items you can order as a family, right?
Yeah.
First order. So keep in mind, I'm living in Chicago. First order I had to deliver was to Elgin, Illinois. So me and my dad drove to Elgin, boom. Next order, Rockford, bow. Then I'm back in Chicago, bow. And I was doing bing bong, back and forth. I remember, so before I dropped my father out, because they were living in Carpentersville during this time, he said, all right, Duke, how we do? I pulled out my pocket. I had $13.
Oh, no.
And that was the best $13 that I've ever had in my life. And that's the reason why is, like, I remember looking at my father, and he just had a proud look on his face. And I said, man, right. I ain't know nothing about no money, about price. I ain't know nothing about. But the thing was, we sold something,
Right.
and people liked the food. Right. So I took my $13. I remember I bought 2 shots at Diamond Gems because once again I had to drop my dad off at home. He was in Carpentersville, and then I got a pitcher of beer, old style. Me and my dad, we sat there and we laughed and we talked, man, and it was just one of those things. Because I think for a lot of folks, right? I think that when you want to do something, sometimes it's good to want to do something and know that you can do it. But that don't mean nothing until you get the reinsurance from the people, especially when you're pushing a product, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because because I think sometimes I think us as Americans, I think that we have sometimes I like to call it a bully mentality, right? Meaning that you get an idea and you're like, hey, it's going to be successful. I'm going to put it right here, and you don't do none of your homework. And you think it's just going to be successful because that's your idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it don't work that way.
No, it don't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a learning curve for me. So then I started doing farmers markets, and then we just kind of blew up from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You guys blew up from there, man. The name kind of like spread quick. The location. How did you guys find that location? Right down there in East St. Charles. East Dundee.
East Dundee. Funny story. I ain't gonna go all the way into it or whatever because I didn't make peace. But
you guys are still there, right?
yeah, we still there. So I started a restaurant group. I put like a little plug. I started a restaurant group this past January. So I'm gonna have 3 different concepts. So Duke will be one of 3 concepts starting in Kane County, East Dundee area, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But how we started down there was my wife. We've been best friends since we were 14, and her family is like born and raised like a well-known Carpentersville, like Dundee people. Like this is their area and whatnot. You know what I mean? And they were like, she was like, well, if you want to do it, start with the farmers markets. And she was living in California at the time and coming back when she finished up her doctorate. And I loved the caboose when I first saw it. Then it got taken away from me. You know what I mean? Somebody stole my business plan, let's just say.
Really?
It's politics, man. It's politics.
Okay.
And it didn't work out for them in a sense of their success, I suppose. So then the village kind of came back and was like, pretty much, Duke, let's make this right. You know what I mean? And I still think that was cool too, because they gave me a shot at it. You know what I mean? And once again, that was new to me too. You know, so learning my business and things, I actually opened up 2 restaurants the same year. I had a Duke's there, and then I had a Duke's in Santa's Village.
Okay. So here you are, a young black man in East Dundee, selling barbecue.
Rib tips, baby.
Rib tips.
Rib tips, baby.
You get a lot of support, but the support is only coming from one direction, in a sense.
Okay.
And you know what I'm talking about. Think long and hard.
What you say the support coming like in the sense of, you mean like East Dundee?
No,
East
people.
Dundee? Like people?
Yes.
Yeah, you mean I don't see much of us?
Yes.
Yes. It's funny you say that, right? I don't blame us for that. And here's why. I think that when you have decades of being told what you can't do, how to think, and this is a process, when you're taught to pretty much hate somebody that kind of looks like you, right? You know what I'm saying? I think that psychology is still embedded in a lot of generations. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that's not gonna necessarily change overnight. What I do is I try to contribute my little piece by helping, saying, "Hey, check it out, man. Let me go show you something that like everybody cool. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't got to be uptight. You know what I'm saying? And I think with that, it's been helping me to kind of bring more of us out. You know what I mean? To like that was one of the main reasons why I did my blues fest, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my blues fest is every affiliation under the sun. You know what I mean? And everybody comes there for one reason: to hang out, listen to good music, eat some good food. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I did that is to kind of show, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, you can do this. You can do this too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't got to be necessarily barbecue or something like that, but just to kind of give exposure. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes, like I was telling my mother many moons ago, you know, we was talking about it. I said, the way we are as a people, we have to, and it's sad though too, but I don't blame us, man. You know what I mean? Like, we have to wait for somebody else to accept something for us to come and accept it. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, you know, but you know that psychology, man. You know what I'm saying? The best way to kind of get to somebody, man, is up here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not me going against us. It's me trying to help us knock down some of those barriers inside of here.
Yeah.
To be like, all right, open the door, man. Come on in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Because you will receive, and you know, I've heard too, you will receive scrutiny. Because like one thing that is in our community, everybody feel like they can do it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And this, everybody got their own taste buds. I think our community is one of the most hardest to please, unsupportive communities, because everybody talk about, well, who got the good barbecue? All right, we'll go down to Duke's. Man, I ain't going down there. I said, well, why not? You got barbecue. You want barbecue. You have a legit barbecue spot in East Dundee, and will nobody come to support it? I'm not saying that they don't.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I can cook barbecue way better than him. It's not about that.
Right.
It's about that you want some barbecue right now. You want some tips. You want some links. You want some macaroni and cheese, some greens, whatever else you have on the menu. But because you are who you are, and you look like them, they won't come and shop with you.
Facts.
Why? That's crazy to me.
It is, but once again, it goes down to that psychology. I mean, I think that it's common for a lot of people to feel like they gotta hate us because you look like. It's like, for instance, what's the mentality? They say people have the crab mentality, right? They say us as a culture, us as a people, we got a crab mentality. Like, you know, you can see somebody trying to climb up to the top, almost there, and somebody pull them down. Instead of letting them get up and then, hey, let me bring you up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's more so like my approach. And I think that's the reason why I try to turn it around. That's the main reason why, like, I'm in the school so much. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, when I was in school, I can't speak about you, but when I was at Dundee Crown High School, I didn't really see many, it's like black, like, entrepreneurs or just people coming to school and just talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really didn't have any outlets for that other than my family in Mississippi, because down my family in Mississippi, I got cousins who are state senators, judges, and stuff like that, but I didn't grow up with them.
Right.
I grew up here. Like, I lived there when I was a little small kid, but majority of my life has been up here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with that, man, I think it's a challenge, man, to be honest with you. You know, I think that I just try to do my part, man.
Yeah, one of the guests said you got some real good turkey legs. I don't know if she's talking about what she's seeing right now or I'm just joking. No, I believe she your cousin is Tawana.
Hey.
Tawana Johnson. She said you got some really good turkey legs.
Hey, Miss Johnson.
I think when Coleman's opened up down in Clock Tower.
Good family.
You was down there.
I was.
And you supported them.
I was.
And you got your own barbecue.
Facts. You saw me down there.
I saw you down there.
Indeed.
I saw you down there.
The psychology.
And I told the girl who worked there, I said, hey, listen, stay consistent.
Facts.
And I'm saying stay consistent because I done seen several places open and close just like that.
Yeah,
And even at Coleman's, here you have Coleman's that serve barbecue and chicken, right? But people will go to Spanky's.
Yeah. That's true.
To get fried chicken when these folks make fried chicken. And the folks at Spanky's who own the restaurant, they don't even eat fried chicken.
Yeah.
That's true.
Psychology, baby.
The psychology
It's sickening.
of it all,
It's sickening.
right? So I always thought like, man, I'll open up a soul food restaurant. Then I was like, nah. Because see, I think what you're doing is brilliant, bro. And I mean this in the most positive and constructive way. I wouldn't cater to our people. When I'm not saying cater food, but my business is not set up structured around our community because our community, for one, is very small and they don't come support. So if you open it up like how you just did, you people come flooding.
Right.
People come flooding in.
But I also think that's an opportunity that you can take it upon yourself to teach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I did too. Like, to be honest with you, I was happy to go to Coleman's.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. They'd be like, hey, I'm proud of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know y'all from a hole in the wall, but I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Because I think if you get more of us uplifting each other, right,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes contagious. You know what I'm saying? And that's another reason why I love going like to Elgin High.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, Dunny Crown, all these schools around here, right? I love even going down to District 214
Mm-hmm.
and tell, hey, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? When I see my homeboys, give a couple of names, I was like Jerry Cook, when he was doing his thing, superintendent, principal, proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I see my homegirl, Martina, she's like the superintendent for District 300 now. Hey, proud of you, baby girl. You know what I mean? Because I think that if we uplift each other, right, and then it just starts spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, that is definitely true, man. But some folks just have a hard time doing it. Some folks have a hard time understanding that or even coming together.
Facts.
There's a situation right now that's brewing in our home and back in Elgin where a festival is coming up, and instead of I'm going to speak on this. I don't know the facts, but just from hearing the outsource of it, 2 festivals are going to be going on the same day. One is charging a fee, and the other one is free, and they're 2 major festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And they know each other. And I don't think one of the 2 guys doesn't have a vendetta against the other one. It's just somebody saying, "Hey, I can do this better than you," and it's just like, for what, man? If you took that "I'm better than you" attitude and combined it with this attitude right here, then y'all both come together. This thing can be bigger than just isolated event.
Correct.
It can be a mega event.
But the issue sometimes that kind of come into a road, man, is pride. Pride and pride is like cancer, right? You know what I mean? Like I think that so many people are so prideful. If somebody come to me and they 5 years old, and they tell me a suggestion and they right, listen at a 5-year-old, I'm gonna listen because I think that sometimes that's people's issues, man. Is they just because they want something and they're like, well, no, my idea is better than your idea. Maybe it's not. You know what I'm saying? But I would never know that if I don't take the time to critique, to take the time to digest what you're trying to bring to me. You know what I'm saying? I think people have tunnel vision when it comes to collabing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think people are like, well, and the thing is, too, people talk shit about each other. Like, man, look, man, when I see you, Rob, every time I see you, it's always been love, bro.
100%.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, like even when I see you and my man's Ill Will, you know what I mean? Even when I see Ill Will, man, I'll be busting his balls and messing with him, like, you know what I mean? When, like, if he goes somewhere and gets some food, I see him, I'm like, hey, you cheating on me? But just messing around with him, man. But I'm like, hey, I'm proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when y'all be getting all y'all wars down in Lincoln Barbershop, be like, hey, I'm proud of y'all. But you know what I'm saying? The same thing with, like, Corey Dixon, just so many folks, man. It's like, I may not see you all the time, but when I see you, I'm gonna make sure we leave on that love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that kind of keeps me going. You know what I'm saying? It also gives hope too, man. It gives hope to the kids when kids see that type of stuff and they see that dialogue. They be like, "Oh man, that's the way it should be." You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't gotta hate you. We're not in competition. How can we win together?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're absolutely right, man. Is trying to figure out how we can win together, but a lot of people don't want to play that game. Whereas, how can we win together? Because
that's true.
Folks, become snakes, and all that other crazy stuff, man. But I don't know. I can't say that's a part of the game because it'll suck if it's a part of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, hey, how can we get better as a community? And like with you in this industry, which is very demanding. Like I said, I take my hat off to you because you got to deal with a lot. You got to deal with a lot, and I'm only speaking from our community, bro. You got to deal with a lot from our community, but I think you handle it very well.
Thank you.
Seriously, I think you handle. I don't know if you might have heard echoes of scrutiny, like, oh, his barbecue ain't this or his barbecue ain't that. But you see, you still pushing because, hey, when I go down there on a Saturday, that motherfucking line is.
And that's the thing, though, too.
That
man.
line is serious.
Indeed, I think that's the thing, though, too, man. Like, you always gotta move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of folks too, like, a lot of folks get caught up with the unnecessaries. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, you know what I mean? I love my barbecue. I love my mama's food. I love my daddy's food. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
God bless your mother's soul. But your mama's food could have been the best food you had. So if you come to me and be like, hey, man, my mama mac and cheese better than yours, how can I say it's not?
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
I just say, hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you spending time with me. You understand? Yeah. And that's the way I approach it all.
Well, I don't want nobody. Should nobody come to you and with that type of attitude anyway? Because again, the reason why it's hard for us in this here cooking thing is because everybody is saying, "Oh, they can't cook. Oh, they can't." Everybody got their own taste buds.
Yeah.
You have 4 or 5 Mexican restaurants on the same damn block in Michoacanas.
Facts.
Yeah.
And they're all thriving.
Facts.
Yeah.
How?
They get it.
They get it.
Just like the Greeks, they get it. That's like,
there's 2 barbecue spots. There's 2 barbecue spots in a 20-mile radius. Duke's, Coleman's. Hey, where I can get some barbecue from? Duke's, Coleman's. Man, ain't nobody finna go, man. Hell no.
Yeah. And that's all right, though.
They get on the E-way.
That's all right, though.
You want to get on the E-way.
No.
You want and here's the logic about it. I'm not saying you.
No.
They'll get on the E-way to go way out to Chicago to say, oh, what is that? What's that barbecue spot? Was it 147th and Shelby, Sibley? It's out there in Harvey.
You're not talking about.
It's off the expressway or whatever.
You're not talking about Limbs.
Something. Let's just say whatever. They will go out there just to go get barbecue, and it's saucy as hell. You might get a bunch of gristle. To say just because you don't want to get it from somebody who you know.
But the crazy thing about it is, if people know my history, I beat out everybody. 2017. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm from Mississippi, man. You know what I mean? We Southern folks, but that's the thing though too, right? But like, so many people come from Chicago to meet me, eat my food, Indiana, Wisconsin. At my Blues Fest, people travel from all over in the Midwest. We book up all those hotels on 31. They come down for the barbecue. That's my music. You know what I mean? Buddy guy, cool dude. Got a great relationship with him. Him and his son, Greg Guy, and a lot of other folks. When I go down to Legends, I always request, hey, Duke, we're going to need that pan of ribs in the back. That's downtown Chicago, right? When you know, you know. And I think folks out here, sometimes, they think so small-minded. You understand what I'm saying? Because my thing is, when I was living in Chicago and I came out here, the one thing I give Chicago, right, is energy. You can go to Chicago, you ain't got to worry about finding a place to eat, you got to worry about finding a place to go out because there's something happening everywhere, right? But when you get somebody who's bringing that same energy out there to your house,
Mm-hmm.
and you embrace them, that's a you problem,
Right.
not my problem.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
so let's
man.
talk about this blues fest.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So the blues fest might have kicked off 2021.
Nah, man, we clicked off the Blues Fest in 2016.
No. Out here.
2016.
2016?
16, yes, sir.
Dang.
Hey, I ain't messing around. I ain't playing with it. I ain't
Wait a
got no
minute.
time to
So
play around
wait,
with it.
so time out, man.
17, let me frame.
Remind me
2017.
back.
Yeah.
Remind me back.
Go ahead, talk to him.
The blues festival has been going on the whole time in downtown Dundee.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Since 2017.
Yep.
I ain't really never heard about it until as of recent.
Same.
Yeah, because what happened was that I used to
That's amazing.
I used to close down my parking lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just closed down the streets by me. You know what I mean? And the way because this is the way I look at it, right? Because this is one thing I learned from business and just being around some of my mentors and people who I spend a lot of time with, right? Like a lot of my guys, they're in their 70s and 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who like I hang with and break bread with and stuff like that, and kind of hang the, as my wife would say, they're all retired and they got money. And I'm not at their level yet, so I need to figure out something, right? But the one thing that was always kind of sticking in my head, right? So one of my guys, Joe Billeteri, right? You know, he was talking to me. He owns like a Billeteri Enterprise. He owns a bunch of condos, and he's a developer, a big developer in Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he would always ask me because a lot of these guys are born and raised from Chicago, who live out here, like in Barrington and Dundee, West Dundee, and, you know, and all that, so on and so on. And he would say, like, you know what the issue is that if I spend $1 in your community, right, it leaves your community.
Mm.
Yeah. And I said, what does that mean? He said, here what I'm telling you. If you go to other communities,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, the Asians, you know, the Hispanics, you know, the Greeks and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
They'll spend $1 and it'll stay in their community for a while. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Meaning that it bounced around. I said, damn. I said, okay. So I know I can't change that from a people standpoint right away.
Mm-hmm.
But I can start with it with my platform I got down here.
Yeah.
That's how I started my Blues Fest. So my whole thing was, if I bring the people
Mm-hmm.
and I get all these bars and restaurants to invest, my return to them is going to be, hey, and I showed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at first people thought I was crazy when I threw a festival, right? But I said, this is the program, the way it's going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
When they leave me, because I closed down at 11, guess what? You got Calendos, you got Elianos still going, you got a Bandito Barney still going. Now, I'm from Chicago, I'm from Indiana, I'm from Wisconsin. I came for the Dukes Fest, but hey, he done here. Man, let me check out the town.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kept building and building and building and building. And then in COVID was the year that we couldn't do it because of the restrictions.
Right.
But I still did an all-day music day. You know what I mean? I had police was called everything, but I had people in lines with masks on.
Okay.
So they couldn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they came down for my food. But while you waiting for my food during COVID, I got a DJ, Jeremiah Cole, DJ Cole, or I think it's DJ Kid. You might be familiar with him. He was at UIC Radio. Then I had like Luke Repass and guys that come and just play 30, 40 minute sets. While people waiting in line, and then guess what? You're in line waiting in COVID. Okay. It's like this all the time. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we gonna bounce back next year.
Okay.
Then the next year happened, and then we got bigger and bigger, and then we moved over to the Carpenter Park, and haven't been happier since, man.
So it's at the Carpentersville Park now.
Now, yep.
Man.
Yeah, let's take a shot to that.
Man.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I do.
This dark liquor.
And what's the date this year? Or do you have a date yet?
Yeah. So it's the 27th through the 29th this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
May?
June.
Yeah.
Yeah, June. Cheers.
So we're cheers to the-
Yeah, cheers to Duke's Blues Fest.
Yay.
No doubt about it, baby.
And so do you play music as well?
That's root beer on my end, just in case.
You say what I'm saying?
Do you play music as well?
Oh, hell no. I wish I could. I can't play for nothing. That's the one skill that I never had. My brother, Tansy, this dude's probably the most talented person I came across. He can do everything. I can't do nothing. I was good at sports and art.
So where does your love for the blues come in at?
You know how that go, baby girl.
From the Delta. From the Delta.
You know what I mean?
Hey, you from the Delta.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a crazy story real quick. A lot of folks don't really, actually, this is the first time I'm sharing this story. As B.B. King and my granddaddy, Golden Seward, who I named my son after, middle name is Golden, first name is Duke. They worked together on tractors in the cotton field. Yeah, so there's a picture of my granddaddy, Golden, with his big tractor. And then B.B. King on one of his albums had the same tractor, same field.
Hold on, man. We might be related, bro.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why is that?
You from Indianola.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, if anybody know where BB King from?
Yeah,
he from
Indianola.
Indianola. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
He from Indianola.
And that's where the cotton field was at.
Yep.
And my granddad at the time was living in Leland, Mississippi.
That's where my daddy was born.
In Leland.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we would I got the picture in my room. My granddad in the cotton field instruction.
But really quick, I just want to take it back to the Blues Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the concept? There's music, there's food. It's just go
Everything.
down there at the park,
Everything.
have
So-
a good time.
Yeah, so we bring
Kids.
Anything
Anything for kids? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So kids are welcome. It's not no like rowdy event or something like that.
Right,
But it's not. I don't believe in carnivals. I don't like carnivals.
Right.
I think that's one thing. I think we can all agree that carnivals coming to town. It started raining and hailing. You know what I mean? They could be there, and then plus I think carnivals are kind of. I think carnivals in. Didn't have they turn.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
so played out.
But as far as like kids activities, we have face painting.
Okay.
We're gonna have this year like the little like some ball targeting. You know what I mean? Like I got one of the vendors. They got like some games where kids go in like little stuffies where they take the ball and they whatever hit a dot or something like that.
Right. Okay, I know what you mean.
So we have a couple of kid games like that. But as far as kid stuff, the music.
Yeah.
Be kids,
Yeah.
And it's cool though too, man, because like a lot of kids actually get up in front and dance. Man, y'all gotta come check out the Blues Fest. It's so beautiful. Like I was talking to the lady on WGN last year, whatever, and then we're gonna be on there here soon. I love it because I think the language, the human language, in my opinion, is music and food, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
it is.
And what I mean by that is I think that everybody taps their feet to some tune, right?
Mhm.
And everybody eats something.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
I
And-
agree. If the food good,
Yeah.
the music good, it's
You know what
a
I mean?
good ass time.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you like blues, Ness?
I'm not a fan. I don't
Yo.
really know too many artists, but I'm not
Man.
opposed from.
Oh, you got to come down. I got this
Man.
girl. I
Yeah.
got this girl gonna blow you. I got this girl who gonna blow you away.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
I'm
know,
definitely there.
we share a lot of the same artists. Like this is another cool thing too. People don't know about me. So I have good relations with a lot of people who are like big famous, like as far as musicians, right? And a lot of times with the blues people, like you would have to kind of know their backstory to be like, damn, they playing for Duke.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that play for me, they play at the Chicago Blues Fest. So I used to do it the same weekend at Chicago Blues Fest. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah.
would share musicians.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So if they play, some of the artists, if they play there on a Friday, they'll play for me on a Saturday, or vice versa.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got some brilliant people like Cherie Reed.
I'm more I don't know a lot of artists besides like BB King because he from the hometown. I just hear music like right now what's playing in my head is the thrill is gone. Babe. The thrill is
It's
gone.
Yeah.
The thrill is gone. And that is, I tell you what, Ness, if you ever wanna be in a real chill mood, play some blues music.
yeah.
Yeah, man, the
Facts.
stories.
Or some gospel, baby. Or some old school gospel. Or
man.
some old school gospel.
That
man.
movie Sinners was about like blues,
Correct.
because it provokes the soul.
I
It
haven't seen it
does.
yet. I want to.
And Buddy Guy
Got
was
you.
was that inspired by him or what? Because I know because you mentioned Buddy Guy and I seen it at the end that I seen his name. I seen his name. And did you see Sinners?
Not yet. I'm going
Okay,
to
well,
see
I
it.
ain't gonna talk
But I want to,
about it.
so it's funny you say that. So like I'm going to be with, so I met all them through Dan Demo, as I call him. I call him Aunt. So he's the drummer, right? So that's he the one that introduced me to Buddy Guy, his daughter Greg Guy. They have a nice, amazing band called New Blue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you got to come and check them out, man. In my festival, man.
So do everybody bring their band, or is one band and they just play for different artists?
No. It's everybody brings bands. So I bring in Michael
Man,
Charles.
you doing it. I'm gonna pause you, man. The reason why I'm saying because I'm so fucking proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea, because the last time I seen the Blues Fest that you was throwing, it was right there downtown Dundee. And I can remember the dudes playing the drums and they singing the songs while people was getting they food. And then the next year it came like nighttime. You had a couple other people, other vendors. But now you saying they moved from that location, bro. And you got all the Carpenters Park with the stage. You got lights going. You got a lot of people out there in the crowd just
marching band too.
And a marching band.
Wow.
And that, man, dude, you really shaking things up around here, man.
Working on it.
God, dog, bro. Terrance, man.
Appreciate you, man.
You just don't understand, man. You really doing some things, bro. And I think more people should know about it, because I think people just looking at the food, but it's bigger than the food. You bringing people together. You know what I'm saying? Through music, through food, through love, through just happiness.
Hey, but you know, man, you might make me a little sensitive, big boy. I was fortunate, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all got a story, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, so I was in a dark spot where my big brother got murdered, right? So right before we went to nationals in high school, my cousin, but we kind of grew up, you know, Jeremy, Baby Red, and happened when I was 17, about to be kind of going into like my senior year, right? And I was in a dark spot until I met y'all in Strainwood, man.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I was, I think sometimes when something happens to you in life, you don't really know how to handle it, especially when you're a kid, or how to kind of deal with your emotions. And being around like you, Lamar, when he came on, Efron, that's my right hand man. Lee, those guys, man, y'all just always was cool, man. And I kind of looked at y'all as like an extension of like big brothers. You know what I mean? Like same thing with Ed Water. You know,
he cooking too.
Yeah, I know, and I'm proud of that, brother.
Man, yeah.
You know
I don't know if he catering, but he.
Nah, he is. So like, funny story, man. He came on my Blues Fest, man, and I was so happy to see him. You know what I mean? His daughter cracked it funny. You know, so he was eating the food. I said, Water, how's the food? He said, it's good. And then the daughter said, Daddy, you said he can't cook. And he started laughing. You know what I mean? No, but it's all love, man. And that's, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, it was cool at a point where, like, so much love was kind of given towards me than it had to be given towards me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, man, there was times, man, and you don't even remember this, man. I'm about to tell you a tale or two, man, to kind of refresh your memory, man. But you remember when you and me and Marcus would work, because your shift, because Road would do AM and PMs.
Yeah.
Because I think he was going to school at the time.
Yep.
Right. And you remember Tuesday they had like $2 or $3, like 2-piece chicken for Popeyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back to the story when I say they had no money because, you know, the paycheck, you know what I mean? I had to pay rent and stuff, man. And you was like, hey, T, man, you hungry, man? He's like, man, about to order. I said, yeah, man, I got no money. He said, man, don't worry, I got you, man.
Really?
And you don't understand how much that meant to me. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But that's the way all y'all embrace me. Like that's the way all y'all embrace me. And I'm like, man, I was like, man, I don't know where it's going to take me, where it's going to go. But I just knew that it was, it felt good to receive love.
Yeah. You know, one thing I can say, which is very interesting, because you bringing it back up with that, with working at the residential.
Yeah.
Somehow we all became family.
Facts.
And dude, you got to, I started working there in 2003. And that facility closed in 2013.
Yeah.
And we all still talk to each other.
Facts.
That is when places close, people go their way. It's not somehow that place brought us all together some weird way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even I don't know if you was at the funeral of brother, man. He passed away. He was the math teacher at Northwest Academy.
Mr. Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell.
I was in California, man, and I cried like a baby.
Yeah, even with somebody like Mr. Mitchell, when we went to his funeral, we all seen each other. Like how you just asked me, hey man, you talked to Marcus. Like I ain't seen Marcus since 2013, but I spoke to him.
Right.
I ain't seen Dave in a while, but I'll speak to him. I can pick up the phone, and it's like nothing happened. Like just like yesterday, what's going on, Jimbo, and what's going on, Dave, and it's just like that, bro.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's that place did something to us that we can never really take away. You know,
It created like, in my opinion, it created like a brotherhood, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like we had like a frat. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the love kept going though too, man. Like even when like I went to the schools, man, like Mark Ball, MB, like Shake, Hogue. It just being around a bunch of dudes. Like it's like for me the way I took it was because everybody plays sports. You know what I'm saying? Like being in the locker room with all you guys. You know what I'm saying? But we working together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I kind of looked at it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got an iPhone charger by any chance?
Don't about to. No.
The phone and died out, man. You know, just in case of the. No, don't worry about it, man.
I can send you the clips or whatever.
No, I just want to try the phone. It just in case his wife called me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta.
Hey,
man.
Hey, look, you can go
I
live.
was here. What time is it right now? I was here.
This is recorded live.
I'm still here, baby. I'm still here.
This is recorded live, man.
Tag her in the comments. Let her know she better chime in. Rihanna.
So what made you want to do barbecue versus just like regular soul food?
See, now you're picking the brain. I'm glad you asked that question. So actually, barbecue wasn't the first thing. So when I said I was getting into business, I wanted to make sure I understood it well, right? You know, because I like to be a student, you know, of life and also with everything, right? I'm still learning from a sponge. As I said, so this is how the psychology works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you go to a Chinese restaurant, what do you expect to see?
Chinese food.
Right. When you go to an Italian restaurant, what do you expect to see?
Italian food.
Right. So I knew the first thing that I'd be accepted with is barbecue. I knew we made some good barbecue.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I knew once I got in there with that, I can introduce my soul food. So with that, when I started a restaurant group this past January, it's chess, baby. I started a restaurant group in January.
Okay.
So guess what my next two concepts going to be?
Soul food.
Yeah, the farm to table soul food. Right on the river. I'm building a building, or I'm doing it with a I can't talk too much about it, but
don't talk too much about it. But I will say
politics.
this. Yeah. I would say this, boy. You you could do big things with the game because it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
And if it has been done, there was no consistency.
Facts.
You feel me? People sell plates. Listen, forget about selling plates. Go do the doggone thing.
Do the thing.
Go do the thing. Now there's people out there who can cook, you know.
Right.
Big up to Beverly Ivy. There's big up to her name is on the tip of my tongue. She also caters Mel. Mel caters. Yeah, those two of the bigger caterers that I know, you know, with the soul food thing, you know, big ups to them. But man, dude, you
catering. So we got catering on the map, man. So catering, man. So not to talk too much about it, but I try to educate our people, man, so much, man. Like we got big contracts, man. So I was doing a bunch of stuff with the Bears. That's you know, so many different factories and it's just so much out there for catering, man. And I think my whole thing is sometimes people skip their blessing by not talking to somebody who looked like them because they think it's competition. I don't look at nothing as competition. I stay in my lane. I know my lane. I'm happy in my lane.
If you can cook, whatever, like me and Ness say all the time, this table is big enough for everybody.
Facts.
You can't cater 50 different. You can't cater 50 parties in one day. In one day,
No, I can.
you know. But okay, you can. But would you want to?
I do.
You know,
and that's what we do now.
yeah. And it can be a struggle.
Hey.
But you got the team. You have the team.
But 100% correct. And that's the thing I was telling my people about too. I was like, man, like you got to teach folks, because this is a thing too that was told to me by an old Greek fella, man. You know what I mean? Food is food. Nobody reinvents the wheel. Just like with water, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can buy this water, spring water. Nobody invented water. They just selling it to you in a different bottle.
Different bottle.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Same thing with food, man. Like, I'm not doing something that's new. I'm not, everything that we've done and that we're doing has been done under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just sticking to what works for me.
You just being consistent.
Right.
That is the thing, is being consistent, because people want to jump into this, but they don't understand what it takes. See, everybody be like, I don't want to work for the man. Okay. And I want to work for myself. Okay. But do you know when you work for yourself, you're the first to come and you're the last to leave?
Last to leave. They don't get that. They don't get that. And that's what I've been trying to teach so many people, man. Like, people don't understand, man. Like, if all hell fails, you know what I mean? I got to show up.
You got to show up.
I got to show up because it's my name.
It's your name.
Yeah, it's my name. Like you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand, like, everybody can call off of work and be like, oh, I'm sick, I want to go do this. And that's all fine and dandy, but guess who got to show up? I do.
You do.
Right.
That order still got to be filled.
And I've done that time and time over again. Man, it's been times where, like, I've had, like, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story really quick. My first Blues Fest,
Mm-hmm.
I had a chef from Texas, right? You know what I mean? I thought he was supposed to be a pit master and stuff like that in Texas. You know, I taught him some things about barbecue. He taught me things about the restaurant industry. So I had this even exchange. But I thought he was Texas, you know, because I'm like, man, I know Mississippi, I know Memphis and things like that. I'm like, man, you got to be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't a dog, but he had potential. So I knew I can teach him what my uncles and my father and my mother ever taught me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in return, he'll teach me things like how to run a line in a restaurant, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How to break down this and this and this, because once again, I was not used to the restaurant industry.
Right.
My first Blues Fest, I had roughly about, let's say 400 people, right? Showed up, in and out, right? On that day.
For the first one.
My first Blues Fest, I had about 400 people, right? And I did a one-day fest. It was one day, right? And what happened was, called off sick. I'm down there, so he called off sick, and then he ordered me 565 slabs of ribs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they got to be fresh, but they got dropped off from U.S. Foods. They were frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to Peoria Meats out of Chicago. I sent all this stuff. This is the day of my festival. That morning. My festival kicks off at 5 to 11. All this I'm telling you has happened before 11 a.m. Right?
How did you cook 500 slabs of ribs that fast like that, bro?
I didn't. But what I did do, you know what I mean?
God.
I didn't. But what I did do is we did a solid, I think Boss said we did about, by the time the festival was done, 11 p.m. Yeah, at 11 p.m. we did close to 500 slices of ribs. Yeah, that day. I had to go to Peoria Foods, Wichita, and Chicago.
Wow, bro.
And Restaurant Depot. You know what I mean? And I'm buying cases. And this one I had my red pickup truck and cases, because me and my daddy, man, me and my man who we started with, we went, he said, because I was in a panic, man. I'm like, I got a guy, but all of a sudden he's sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, bro, you know, we supposed to do this together. You know what I mean? The chef's sick, and I was like, you supposed to be cutting this. I'm supposed to be trying to get people to come down here to the festival. Mm-hmm. You know, this is the first time I ever did a festival. You know what I mean? I participated in the festivals, but I never did my own festival. You all of a sudden sick, you know, and then but that's, to your point, nobody never knew that.
Yeah,
because the festival still went on, but I
Absolutely.
I had to fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. So obviously, because when I was like, man, can't nobody pull off 50 cater, you said I can, because you got a team.
Facts.
Give a
Strong
shout out
team.
to your team, man. Let's talk about the people on your team, man.
Strong team. So I have a gentleman who's with us right now, Dave. Dave is the newest asset to the team. Dave. Dave's in the back. You can't see Dave. My mother, my father, you know, my wife, my backbone, Rhiannon. Like I said, we've been best friends since we were 14. And every crazy idea that I've ever had in life, she's always been a huge support system for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where it kind of starts for, right? You know, I think that like with education, I'm off a little bit, but how they say education starts at home, that's very true. It starts at home.
Absolutely.
And I think support for a business
Mm-hmm.
starts in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I know a lot of men older than me, some younger, who said, damn, man, I got this great idea. I really want to do it, but my wife don't support it. I say, damn, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or my girlfriend don't support it, because it means so much to have support behind you. You know what I mean? Like, it means like a whole bunch. And then Efron with me.
Okay.
You know, that's my right-hand man right there. That's my partner. You know, it's just so many people, man. Like, this is not a Duke show, a one-man show. Like, yeah, I know a lot of times people see me in articles and whatnot and on the news and all that good stuff. It's all fine and dandy and it looks good, but hell no, I can't make this by myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? I'm nothing without my team.
That's real talk, man. I'm glad, you know, that they're there for you, helping you out in this journey, because it can be complicated.
It can
You
be.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to them. So Duke,
Yeah, talk to me.
what separates Duke from the rest? Because you said you from Mississippi, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Mississippi, the Delta,
Yeah.
Indianola, Clarksdale, you know,
Clark.
Greenwood, Greenville.
I ain't heard that one in a long time.
But I ain't never heard them in the conversation of barbecue when it comes to Memphis, when it comes to Kansas City, when it comes to South Carolina.
No.
Okay, talk to me, man.
That's
Talk
where
to
you
me.
wrong, man.
Talk to me.
Hey, so as a tale goes, now the barbecue and the blues, the barbecue, you can argue the barbecue, right?
Okay, we arguing barbecue.
Because the South is the South, you know what I mean? I think the South, as Outkast says, I think the South got something to say.
They do.
You know what I mean? I think when it comes to that barbecue, so you can't really mess with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The blues, now that started on Nelson Street.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Mississippi Fred.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know, well, you're not really a blues guy, so you probably won't know too much about him. But with the barbecue, man, I think that's a Southern thing. I think it's one of the things, too. It's kind of like sports and competing, right? I think that, like, you learn your craft, you know your craft, and you just put your best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? And what I used to tell guys when I used to compete, you know, my favorite slogan is, if I can compete with your daddy and your granddaddy, imagine what I'm gonna do to your son. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know what I mean? So I mean, that's, you know, so I'm always welcoming everybody. A lot of people say a lot of stuff about who can do a Q, who can do this, who can do that. I mean, I'll match my rig up against anybody.
So, because there is, what people don't really know is there's a like I said, you have barbecuing. You got people who can barbecue and they can't cook on a grill. I mean on the stove. You got people who can cook on the stove who can't cook on the grill.
Facts.
But there's different types of grills.
There is.
You got a propane joint.
That's cheating.
You got a barbecue grill, and you have a smoker.
So anybody that's using propane and say they smoking or pellets or something like that, you know what I mean? Don't even come to the table, Jack. You know what I mean? Stay at home.
Are you that good to know the difference if you taste it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I can break down anybody's food, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you got to have a special type of palate to understand, or you just...
No, I wouldn't say a special type of palate or whatever. I just have to be honest with you, everybody who I don't say nobody works for me, but everybody who helps me, because I don't like to say that I have workers or anything like that. They'll talk so much shit about me. They'll say, man, Duke, for as good as he cooks on the Q, he don't eat. He he don't be eating a lot of stuff because I like the art behind it. You know what I'm saying? I like the process.
Yeah.
I like taking a whole brisket
Mm-hmm.
from start to finish, or anything. Like even whenever we make fish or whatever, but I like the process of knowing that okay, if I get it to this temp, I get it to this, it's gonna be right at that point that you're gonna like it. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I make you some fish, I want to look in your eye. I like I want to see you take that first bite. Like oh yeah, she like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or like make you know what I'm saying? That's what gets me excited. You know what I'm saying? And I think that with that drive, like I told my wife, I say this: the day that I lose that is the day that I'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is what separates. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they'll come down and they'll want to talk to me and they'll be, oh man, I do this, man. I've been doing this and I do this. And like there's so many people that come down to me, man, ask me for advice. Old cats too, man. You know what I mean? And me and my posse be looking, they'll be like, but didn't they say they've been queuing or doing this for 20 years?
They've been putting a whole lot of sauce. When they give you more sauce than they give you meat,
Yeah,
you know?
no doubt about it, man.
I'm curious to know,
Yeah,
have you ever felt overwhelmed, even with just the blues festival, where you felt like maybe it's not working? Have you ever felt that?
I don't want to say overwhelmed. I feel like it's not working, but I was definitely felt overwhelmed because because the thing is, they call me crazy, but like for as big as our Blues Fest gets, I ain't doing it this year, but I've been known to do a big wedding or a big conference for like 200, 300 people on the day of my Blues Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that, I think is kind of, you know what I mean? Because the way my daddy raised
Pushing your
us.
limit.
Yeah, but I don't want to say I push it pretty close, right?
Yeah.
I want to say my father have always told my brother and I, and my sister too, like you finish what you start.
Yeah.
And you also be a man of your word. Like, you know what I mean? My daddy would always tell me this, especially when I started, he would like, Duke, now because my daddy was before he retired, he was in the plastic injection molding. He was in the factory work for a long time, right? And he'd be like, man, there was plenty of times in the 90s, I ain't want to go to work. I done stayed up all night and stuff like that. But I gave Roy, I call him Uncle Roy Lilly. He owned Hanson's Plastic, but he'd be like, I gave my word. I'm going to be at work. And he said, I drink all night. Pretty much that's how I got that mentality when I was at Stream with. Like, I drink and party all night. Party about 3, 4 in the morning, but I've been working 7. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that's always kind of been my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told these people I'm gonna do this wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do the wedding.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? If I wake up and I'm breathing in the morning time, I'm gonna show up, right?
Yeah, you got to, because you done gave me your word.
Because you gave me your word. Because your
You
word.
definitely gave me your word, man.
A man has nothing if he don't got his word, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
man.
And that's what I stand on.
So would you consider yourself a pit master then?
Consider myself a dog.
Okay.
I mean,
So you can do it all, huh?
And a pit master.
He said, listen,
and a pit master.
I can deep fry you some fish.
Facts.
If you want to brought off the propane grill, I'll get you that. If you want a hamburger off the fire.
I ain't gonna do no propane. I ain't gonna line. The only time I do propane. Hey, don't give me the line. So
hold on, because I got a propane joint upstairs, but I also got a grill. I ain't got no.
Propane is good. Propane is convenient in the wintertime when you want to go outside and we got about 6 inches of snow. It's negative outside. You want to put that steak on the grill.
Man, I ain't got the patience, man. Like that's what barbecuing is all about. Patience, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially smoking. It's patience.
But what is life though without patience?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think a lot of people. I think that's the art of life that a lot of people miss out on.
Is having the patience.
Having patience, man.
Now, if you anything like me, bro, when I do barbecue, I don't eat the food, man.
Because you've been snacking the whole time while you're making it.
I'm just like,
You know
man,
what I mean?
oh my God.
That's
man.
why you don't eat it. That's the same reason why any cook don't eat their food, man. Because you got to taste the stuff when you give it to the people.
I make some ribs or something, bro, and I watch everybody else eat, and I just be like, I don't even want them.
But how do you feel watching everybody else eat?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that fills your belly right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think I can cook a little bit, man. I haven't really mastered the smoking aspect yet, though. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not really necessarily even smoking, man. It's just like knowing how to break down meat. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't grow with smokers, man. we grew up like my daddy had Weber grills all my life. I think Weber is the best grill to make known to man. You know what I'm saying? That's the Cadillac of grills, in my opinion. But I think that he taught me the process. Like my Uncle Nip, God bless his soul, I ain't know nothing about mopping until my Uncle Nip, showed me down in Memphis. And then I learned brisket when I went down to Texas and spent that little time in Texas. And I went down to like, I seen Aaron Franklin's and Salt Lick and all that. And they had good brisket, don't get me wrong, but there was about 5 different spots I went to that was like gas stations, hole in the walls. As I'm making my way back to Chicago before I went to stopped in Memphis and so on in Mississippi. But those are the spots right there, you know what I'm saying? And I learned some of their processing techniques. And they'll have like, they'll have like a gallon drum, you know what I'm saying? Like open flames. And it wasn't about to open, and it still tastes like smoked meat. You know why? Because smoked meat is just smoke.
Just smoke.
When you grilling with charcoal, it's still smoke, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's what you put into the meat. But you got to learn the techniques such as resting, such as mopping. I'm not big into doing the overnight, the 48-hour like marinades and things of that nature. But I'm into like mopping. You know what I'm saying? Like, when my Uncle Ned, God bless his soul, man. But this brother, man, he had mopping and spraying down to the tech. Like he had a mop bucket. Like it's like a little mop, right?
Yeah,
a little mop in a bucket. And then he had a spray bottle. His spray bottle was OE garlic and water. And he'll mist it, then take that mop and...
Really?
Yeah, man.
I always wondered what that mop thing, because I seen more people using that to put the barbecue sauce on it.
And you can do that too. A lot of times when people do the mopping thing too, like, you know what I mean? A lot of people like they put some vinegar in it too. Like essentially like the mopping is a process. It breaks down the meat, right? So like a lot of people, like even with like mustard, right? A lot of people say like, why do you use mustard, right? And any true pit master or somebody like that, they'll tell you because it has the ingredients vinegar. So vinegar, and that's why people use it for a cleaning solution now, right? Because it breaks down whatever, right?
They use mustard for cleaning?
No, vinegar.
Vinegar, okay, yeah.
Vinegar is in mustard.
Gotcha.
To put the mustard onto it, that's gonna stick to rub, right? So then you get to like, you like garlic or black pepper, whatever you may like, that's gonna stick to it. But just know that with that vinegar being in there too, it's also gonna tenderize that meat for you. You know what I mean? And then that's when you flip it.
On your heels.
I'm on your heels. But that's why I tell folks, people who really smoking know what they're doing. Like, huge shout out to my cousin Rock, man. Tommy Phillips, man. That's my other brother, man. You know what I mean? I was fortunate to grow up with him. But he actually is the one that taught me how to cook with the bone, or no, how to cook, but how to use the bone marrow. How to use that bone as your friend. You know what I mean? And I say, what you mean? Because when you cook any meat with a bone, it naturally has that bone marrow inside of it, right? So like if you got some ribs and the meat's right here, he was like, cuz, once the meat's right here, that mean that bone marrow getting those juices are inside. Then with that rub on it, it's like it's a party inside and a party outside.
Well, you got a whole science going on over here, huh?
Imagine what it'll taste like once they meet in the middle. Talk to me.
Tastes like heaven.
Talk to me.
I'm surprised you ain't fat, bro. You been eating like this, man. High cholesterol, diabetes. You know.
Must about lose that foot.
I've been eating barbecue all the time.
Hey, if you got to cut out too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you make your own barbecue sauce?
Man, we make everything, man.
Really?
Man, we make everything. But that was, you know what's crazy? So my grandmother is the one that taught my dad, gave him his rubs when he was a kid in Mississippi. My mother's father, or my mother's mother, Addie Jean. That's what I named my daughter after, Addie Rose, right? And she gave my dad the recipes of barbecue sauce. So it's her barbecue sauce. I'm gonna introduce, like once we open up this next spot. So I got 3 places. So in 2020 with 2025, 2026, it's gonna be 2 other concepts I'm introducing to Kane County. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm gonna introduce my grandmother's barbecue sauce. Not the one that's like my palate, but like my grandmother's barbecue sauce. You know what I mean? Because that's the one I grew up on. You know what I mean? But my dad said, if you're gonna do this, everything, we make everything. I got my own chicken rub, pork rub. Brisket ain't really no rub because briskets, if you do it right, a lot of people like to say they do brisket right, but don't do brisket right. The best thing I learned from Texas is black pepper and salt. So brisket is really how you, in my opinion, can really
Separate folks.
Yeah, to really see somebody really a true pit master. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people talk a big game.
Yeah. So is brisket really complicated to cook or something?
Oh man, try it sometime.
I ain't even gonna fool with it, man.
And another thing that too, like I tell folks all the time, I be messing with people all the time and just seeing where their heads at is when people make chicken breast and it's dry. Yeah, well, you can't cook.
Don't tell me that, man, because my damn chicken breast be dry as hell.
I swear to
I feel like I can
God.
cook, bro.
Just really quick, give us a tip on how it's not, how to make it not dry. Really quick. Is it butter?
You know what it is?
Wrap him up in some aluminum foil.
Right, like put the lid on it. What we do?
You know what it is?
What?
Patience.
Oh God! Because we still trying to get that mug done.
Hey, I guess you got to call the guys or get you some bourbon and sit back and just let the thing do its thing.
Hey, so
you ain't got nowhere to go.
Let me ask y'all a question real quick. So whenever you had turkey growing up, because I think we all experienced turkey, right? When you get to that turkey breast, you gotta add what? You gotta add that gravy to it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's dry.
Yeah,
dry
literally.
Ask somebody about my turkeys.
Your cousin just said it.
They juicy.
That boy went down to Texas and boy learned a little something.
I learned the brisket in Texas.
Brisket is a real big thing down there, huh?
It's huge. I tell a lot of folks, man, like brisket is a Texas thing. Mississippi and Memphis, we known for the pork and the beef. I mean, for the pork and the chicken. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks that'll go into that in the cans, everybody be like, oh, you know, brisket burn ends, this sort of thing. Like, no, that's you have to give credit when credit's due. You know, brisket is a Texas thing, and if anybody else tell you otherwise, that means because they didn't do their homework and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, man, that's this is what the brisket is it. How long do it take a brisket to cook?
Ooh, we put our briskets on, man. It depends on the weight. With the rest and everything, all in all, man, I try to do like about 16-hour smoke.
What?
Like a full day.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Depends on the weight. Like for instance, like we got to do an event. I had Tracy, you know, I'm happy to have her back, man. She's a phenomenal pit master, man. She cold blooded.
Yeah.
Female pit master.
Did you ever think about having like a barbecue kickoff, like a competition?
I do that at my Blues Fest.
You do it at the Blues Fest?
Not a competition in a sense, but it's like if you come and hang around me at the pit, just like a lot of people kind of come and admire. I have so many dope chefs who come down with me who say, Duke, man, I just want to kind of be with you. And these dudes are older, man.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like meeting of the minds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason I love it so much because I'm always good. As long as the good Lord allows me to wake up in the morning time, I would like to always learn.
Yeah, because there's some brothers, man, that we know, man. Yeah. Jerome Thornton, he kicked off. He used to have a barbecue competition in Wing Park.
So Jerome, funny story about Jerome. Oh, Romy Rome told me when I went to his cookout.
I can just imagine this here.
Is me and my dad show up and he's like, yeah, man, too many people. Like, no, y'all, we just gonna have y'all as judges. And I was like, what? Yeah, man.
Also, he ain't want no smoke.
I don't want to say he ain't want no smoke, but the other folks around him probably got a little intimidated, I suppose. But Romy Rome was doing his thing. My homeboy Courtney Banks, he good on the piss, man. Like that's the thing, though, too, man. There's a lot of guys good on the piss, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think as long as you know your craft and know your stuff, man, you know what I mean? It's showing up on your best day, man, and throw it out there and see where they fall.
Yeah, because I know he was going at it with a couple guys. I had him because he got the show Cooking with Rome in the Hood.
Yeah, in Rockford.
Yeah,
when
out there in Rockford.
I called him
yeah. Then
for some fried chicken. By the way, that fried chicken spot you sent me to was horrible. Horrible, Rome.
What he sent you to the catch?
Yeah. Horrible, Rome.
I think that's subjective to which one you probably went to. You went to the one on West State, or where'd you?
The one. So we went to. I'm bad with directions, but we went to the Science Museum spot in Rockford.
Oh, so you was downtown then?
Yeah, but so we was right. Yeah, so the one that's closest to downtown.
Yeah, there's like one downtown, maybe like I think that's 11th Street or something like that, man. But
yeah, man, not it.
And then I know he was going at it with one of the other guys who called himself a pit master, Randy Outlaw.
Oh, Outlaw, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they be going back and forth at times, saying they the king of the grill and things like that. Yeah,
everybody in their own thing to say, man. Like I tell folks, man, you know what I mean? I'll put my pit up against anybody.
Yeah, you heard that, right? You heard that? Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Man, I want to thank you for coming on here, and spending this time with us, man. I just want to tell you
thank
that.
y'all for having me, man.
You really doing big things. You got a lot of big things going on that I really wasn't too aware of that you had going on, but it's exciting to hear, man, on how from the last time from where I saw it to where it's at now, bro. That's like, bro, you skyrocketed, man. You solidified, bro.
Still working on it.
Wait, listen, I know you taking a humble approach, and that's cool. I like the meek in you, but you solidified, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
You there. You ain't going nowhere. The only way this can mess up is if you fuck it up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Your name is your brand, just like how you were saying, and then you gotta be the first to come, and you're gonna be the last to leave.
Yeah.
And you gotta make sure everything that you do, just like how me and Ness do to protect our brand, it's got to be protected.
And let me give you your flowers too, my man. So he used to cut the kids' hair at the Costco Center.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it also can be said about you too. How many cats, when you was started cutting hair, saying, "Oh man, I ain't fucking with Rob, I ain't fucking with Jimmy. I know how to cut hair. I know how to do this." You know what I mean?
A lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So many cats, right?
Yeah.
But you doing it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Love, baby.
Without a doubt, man.
No doubt.
And here we are. Me and Ness, we kicked this thing off. I had reached out to Ness. I was like, man, maybe I should bring somebody on. And sometimes as when you're doing something, you can get a little apprehensive about bringing other people on.
Right.
Because you don't know how this is gonna go. And I'm just like, it took me a minute. I slept on it for a little while. I'm like, man, should I get somebody else? And I was like, yeah, forget it. Let me just go ahead. I think it'll be cool. And I put a Facebook post out there. And I was driving. I was like, why did I just do that when I know I just spoke to a person about wanting to do a podcast, and I know I just dropped her some equipment on because this is what she wanted. I erased that call. Hey, Ness. Yo, what's up? You want to rock and roll?
Yeah.
And here she is, man. You know what I'm saying?
I want to be in your podcast.
Yeah. She doing the doggone thing. She bring a lot of life to the show. You know what I mean? She's a very popular person. And I go around my mom. She's like, "It's B, Vanessa B."
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all, man.
God.
So here we are. We just trying to do some things, man. And how we can expand. However we can expand. It'll be great. And it's funny because. I was DJing. I was doing live DJs. When I see people now, bro, they be like, "Hey, man, I watched the podcast." I'd be like, "I was doing live DJing too," but they don't say nothing about that.
But the thing is, too, and you can vouch for it, when you done live DJ, I was on it a couple of times, like, "Hey, what's up, my boy Terrance?" Because I put little heart emojis, you know what I'm saying? Nah, because he my partner, boy.
Everything.
You know what I mean? It's all love. It's all love.
We all starting, so we just all trying to do something positive. Nice. And that's why we trying to, whoever got something positive or who want to tell a story, we try to bring them on and shed light with them because, everybody needs, to be given some flowers while they're alive. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, there's a lot of DJs. There's a lot of people doing podcasts. A lot of people doing a lot of everything, man.
Right.
Let's work together. Let's have some fun. Here we are in the suburbs.
Right.
They doing their thing in Chicago. Let's do it here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I want you to plug the Blues Fest one more time for the people out there.
I'm gonna plug the Blues Fest. Before I plug the Blues Fest, the next act is gonna be coming in whenever Roby and Miss Ness decide to have them. So you're gonna have Marcus Robinson from Chicago Bears. It's gonna be on your podcast.
What?
Hey, that's what's Hey, bring him. He right around the corner.
I know. I'm gonna bring him, and I'm gonna bring some other guys too. So I think a couple other things too. A couple old heads who like this type of stuff because they like to feel like they're young, but they in their 70s.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
Hey, because we're definitely. Hey, listen. She's a sports fanatic. She loves football.
Yeah.
And she'll talk football, and we'll talk football.
You're Bears fans. Subject.
Nah, she a Cleveland Browns fan, bro.
You're Brown.
You want to go there? We only got like 10 minutes left. You want to go there? Yeah, I mean, I am going to be wearing orange and brown this year.
Hey, that's cool.
Yes,
like my
sir.
man say, I don't know if anybody went to Cleveland for a vacation.
Right.
Cleveland? Like, what your team say?
I got family there.
What they doing in Cleveland?
I got family there, so the game day gonna be a little lit.
I'm a LeBron fan, so I was a Cleveland fan, so I ain't gonna knock it.
Hey,
But thanks again for having me, man.
Without a doubt,
sure.
since you a LeBron fan, I gotta get on you too, man.
Go ahead and ride with me.
And you a hooper though, bro.
Ex-hooper, man.
You ex-hooper. No, you always hoop. Man, one thing I want to know before we get into the hooping side, man. Where the hell did you get your height from? Because you taller than your brother and your daddy, bro.
That gentleman Golden who I told y'all about. My granddaddy. I'm built like him too. So he was 6'4", I'm 6'4". He's a lefty, I'm a lefty.
And your father, what, 5'7", 5'8"?
He about your height. Y'all look eye to eye.
That's bad. I'm 5'6".
He about 5'6".
We had to go do this DNA. Like, wait a minute, man.
Oh Lord.
Dad.
I know Tansy gotta be like, he about the same height as my dad.
As my mama would say, I'm the milkman, baby.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Gotta be.
Because you look at, man, what y'all say? You looking down.
Everybody in my family is short for the most part. You know, I got some tall cousins, but you know, one of the taller ones, I suppose.
Oh my God, man!
But I appreciate you having me, man.
Without a doubt, man. So
Blues Fest is June 27th, 28th. Addresses at Carpenter Park, Carpentersville, Illinois. And I got something for the 29th, so I'm gonna put it out here so y'all make sure he shows up. I got a car show, Jimmy, and I show.
Oh yeah.
When I pulled up to Jimmy's house, Rove's house, my man got about 5, 6 beautiful cars outside. I ain't asking for much. I just need one of them.
He ain't even opened the garage yet.
I want to see what's in that garage. He pulled up on me one time. I said, Jimmy, boy, if you don't stop going. Now I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of you, Rove.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, it's all from my mom, bro. She died so I can live, man.
Man, I know she's proud of her baby.
And I gotta take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, bro. Like Cam Ward said, I know what it's like to not have. Can't go back to that, bro.
Yeah.
Nah. So I'm gonna work 4 or 5 jobs. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna hustle. Just like how you said, bro. If I'm going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and I got a client at 8, I'm gonna get up at 7 o'clock, take care of myself, and I'm out the door.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I go from one job to the next. Just go from the AM job to the barbershop. And then if I got to leave from the barbershop and go DJ a gig, I'm there. If I get home at 2 o'clock in the morning, it is what it is. I got to get it. It's not like I'm thirsty for money, but it's just something in me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just something in me.
Hey, that's something a lot of people don't got it on them.
No, seriously.
Listen, what they say, broke people don't, I mean, my pops always said a man who can work with his hands will never be broke.
Facts.
And I believe that. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So, and I wish I had the gift to cook. I'm telling you, I wish I had the gift to cook. I wish I had the gift to sing, because shit.
Not saying.
Man, if I can sing, man, I'll be serenading everybody. I couldn't shut me up.
And also, when we worked together, people thought Roby was, what is it?
Shawty
Low.
I'm so tired of hearing that.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, Miss Ness. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
Man, I definitely. Ness,
Yeah,
what's going on? What's going on this week?
It's just a few things going on. I do want to give a little sad news. Vern's Tavern is closing.
Yeah, I heard.
They're closing. Their last day is May 7th, so they are having an event there just for support for the next steps moving forward. So make sure y'all come out to that. They are having a just a little few things like Cinco de Mayo is coming up. They are also having a Cinco de Mayo party on Saturday, May 3rd. Side Street Studios, one of our also favorite spots. They are doing free picture days for artists like musicians, painters, things like that. If you need a portfolio picture, go get those free pictures. Not too much going on. It is gonna be nice this weekend, so definitely check out Duke's Barbecue. Get you some good food this weekend. Feel good outside. You feel good, look good, eat good. You're gonna do good.
Try not to lose that foot.
Speaking of which, Duke.
One side, one drink.
Dude, let people know where you located at, and are you open for business right now?
Indeed, we are. So we're at 112 Railroad Street, East Dundee. So that location's weather permitted, but it's Thursday through Sunday, roughly 11 a.m. to 6:30. Most days, 7 on Saturday, and we sell until we sold out. So come early, because there's been times where we'll be sold out by 6 o'clock. And when I say we go through a lot of meat, we go through a lot of meat. According to the Kane County Health Department, out of all the receipts and the things that we have, let's just say that we're pumping out more meat than most.
They did snap.
Pause.
Cause I definitely went to start.
No diddy.
Slanging meat. You
Slanging
understand?
Slanging meat. No diddy.
Oh man.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all, man. Till
Always,
next time, man. We'll see y'all later, man. Have a blessed weekend.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Appreciate you.